Welcome into a new BuffStampede Radio. Adam Munsterteiger, the publisher of BuffStampede.com, joined by our beloved football analyst, William Gardner. And today, we've got Hoodie William. So the stage is now set.
Yeah, I don't know about that beloved part. I'm not sure who I'm beloved by, but it's a Bronx Zoo hoodie, so okay. I don't know if that's the same as the other one or not. So anybody from the Bronx, I'm your guy today, I guess.
All right, we'll see what can get you fired up today. Cause I think there's a couple things out there that might be able to fuel that fire a little bit. But let's start on, before we recap the Kansas game a little bit, let's talk about Senior Day being on tap, because it's the transfer portal era. You don't get to see these guys in a lot of cases develop the same way that you used to, but especially with the behind the scenes access that Colorado grants under Coach Prime, I feel like you have developed an understanding of these guys' personalities a little bit, that they're going to be walking on Senior Day, and maybe that adds a little bit to it. And there are a lot of guys that have now been around for a couple of years in Boulder.
Well, and I'm finding, especially with the access we get to them, that like you say, you get to know them a little bit better, and I still sort of have the same feeling, I guess, after all this time. But I think it's still working out. I was concerned that in the portal era I wouldn't even know the team and whatever, but we still get to know them, and kind of it's still amazing to me after 40 years of this that a college football season is this long drama, and there's so many ups and downs and swings, and by the time you get to the end, we still got a game left, and we're talking like it's the end already, and it's just interesting to me. But and I guess we should say we're a little bit late this week, but I had other prior pressing matters in the day job that had to be taken care of. But here we are, and that'll get us a shorter time before the next one, maybe.
Yeah, the loss didn't affect the timing of this podcast. You had some stuff going on. I was traveling back from Kansas City on Sunday, so I'm glad we were able to do this on the eve of Thanksgiving. Kind of building off that Senior Day topic, Shedeur Sanders is expected to play in whatever bowl game, or if they get a chance to go to the Big 12 championship game, he will obviously play in that as well. So this isn't the last time we're going to see Shedeur Sanders. Same with Travis Hunter. Coach Prime said the same about him, that he will play in a bowl game. But it's still the last time those two are going to be competing in a Folsom Field. So, what those two have done for this program, it's hard to put into words, and it's been really fun to have witnessed what they've done in Boulder the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I think it's fun, and there's sort of a mini controversy, I guess. People say, "Oh, they shouldn't play. It's stupid." But it's like, it's the same to me as with recruiting in the NIL. You know what? We ain't all freaking 100% motivated by money, and a lot of us are motivated by things other than that. Thank God, you wouldn't have prosecutors and cops and nurses and firemen and soldiers and everything else if everybody's motivated by money. So I think these two guys, they want to play. They love their teammates, and they love their coaches, and they want to play, and that's their choice, and they're grown-ass men, and everybody else ought to shut the hell up.
Yeah, I'm looking down the list here. Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to try to give it a go. He's a senior. Will Shepard, LaJonte Wester. So a lot of talent they're going to have to replace at receiver, but still, we're not done with them yet. On the offensive line, Justin Mayers, Kareem Harden, who have both had a big role on the team this year. I believe Tyler Brown said that he's going to be able to apply for a hardship waiver. So I think he's technically a senior, but he might be coming back next year. Defensive line, Shane Cokes.
I guess the anticipation is he'll take a look at defensive line in spring and see how that goes.
Yeah. And they're going to need some help there, because Shane Cokes, Chidozie Nwankwo, Torian Carter, who's been hurt this season, BJ Green, and Rayon Buell, who's also been banged up for much of this season, are all seniors on that group. So we already know, this is something Coach Prime has said at his press conferences, they're going to have to address that defensive line through the portal. But they do have, Amari McNeil, Inquin Barnes, Tawfiq Thomas set to come back. So the cupboard's not going to be completely bare, but that's going to be a priority for sure. In the edge group, Deion Hayes is a senior. He's been hurt. Jeremiah Brown is not going to be up out of eligibility, even though he's a senior, because he's going to redshirt. Same with Trevor Woods at linebacker. You've got Vonta Bentley, who will be playing in his last game as a Buff. Brennan Gant, he's provided some good coverage on special teams this year. Preston Hodge, he's not going to be able to play on Friday, unfortunately. This is going to be his last time at Folsom Field. And then at safety, Shiloh Sanders, Cameron Silman Craig, Travis Jay, and Herman Smith. Both Jay and Smith have been big on special teams this year. And then punter Mark Fassett. Who in that group are you just, does it kind of wrench your heart a little bit that this is going to be their last home game?
Well, I guess first of all, Torian Carter, is he getting another season since he basically missed this season?
I have not heard that. Technically, if he doesn't get a waiver, I think this will be it for him, but we'll see what happens there.
I think he missed the whole season for injury for the most part, but I don't know. I guess the guys. I guess I don't know. There's a lot of them on that group. I think Shane Coaxon has been here 2 years and has really been the heart of this team for a couple of years, and Jose Wankwo has just sort of been my guy.
Yeah.
The kind of defensive tackle I dream of us having, and he's been fantastic and lived up to all that. And I guess, Levante Bentley is a guy who just has been out there just slamming bodies for this team. And I think he's given us everything, we have. I think, the guy we're going to.
Can't forget Nakai Hill Green too. He'll be off to the NFL next year.
Yeah. He's another one. I think that I wish we had him for 2 seasons because he's just really into his own. But I think Nakai Hill Green is going to get drafted. I think the best part of his career is yet to come. Won't be playing for us, but I think we have just started to see the beginning of his career at linebacker, and I think he's going to be every bit as good, if not better, than Nate Landman up at the next level. But those 4 guys just really stand out to me. Cameron Silman Craig. I don't know. I mean, I felt like I got to name all of them if I start naming them. Shiloh and Jimmy Horn at that moment last year in the Colorado State game, the 2 moments really with Coach Prime talking to him on the field and then him getting that touchdown will always be among my great moments. And Shador and Travis, and I don't know, how do you mention one and not mention the other? I'll miss them all, Will Shepard, early in the season, we're like, where was this guy from the summer? And then all of a sudden there he was, and LeJontay Wester is just electric. And I don't know, lots of guys. Justin Mayers has been a kind of offensive guard we'd hoped he'd be. Kareem Harden helped us out last year, it wasn't just this year. So it's funny, you started out by talking about that they hadn't been here for 4 or 5 years like we had gotten used to, but I don't know, they're my guys, man. They still I guess this is the first time really getting to a senior day. I guess last year was sort of, but I guess I'm finding that they're still my CU Buffs, man.
Yeah, and that's a credit to them because they've made their mark on this program. And like we talked to Mark Fassett today, and he transferred from Louisville, which is, had obviously won more games than Colorado had those 2 years that he was in college. And he said, I wanted to come in and be part of building something. And so those guys will be thought of no matter how many wins they get from this point going forward this season for really laying down a solid foundation. Today's episode is brought to us by Mcauley Capital Fractional CFO Services. Is your business looking for financial guidance and support, but not yet big enough to hire a full-time CFO? Well, we have a solution for you. Hiring a fractional CFO who can work with your business on a part-time basis. You get the benefit of having a seasoned financial expert on your team without the commitment or expense of a full-time hire. And here's the best part. It's likely that a partnership with Mcauley Capital will be a win-win situation, meaning that your business will make more money from the guidance of a fractional CFO than the total cost of partnering with us. For more information or to set up a meeting, please visit McCauleyCapital.com. That's MCCAULEY Capital.com. Kind of building off that, the Buffalo Heart Award has been given out for quite a while now. Darren Cheverini was the first recipient of that award, and they've been doing it every year since then. It's given out to the fans behind the bench, and it's not always given to CU's best player. I think Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders would obviously get the Buffalo Heart Award this year if that's what was the case. It goes to a player who best exemplifies grit, determination, and toughness. And there's been a wide variety of winners of this award over the years, both sides of the ball. If you had a vote for this year's Buffalo Heart Award, who would you give that to?
There's only one right answer. I want to see if you got it.
You mentioned his name earlier in the podcast. That's who my vote would be for. I'm curious what you're going to say.
Well, it's Cameron Silman Craig, man. There's only the
okay.
Guy, because he's not as big as he should be, and he's not as fast as he should be, and yet he makes every play, and he's in on every tackle, and he knocks people down, and he didn't have to overcome injury or anything like that, which is a lot of times what we're looking at. But if it's grit, determination, and toughness, and if you stuck leadership in there, he'd be the whole package. But I can't imagine. And I went down the list of other guys, and maybe
the other one I strongly considered was Vonta Bentley, partly because of what he went through last year. He was benched at a point in the season when Juwan Mitchell came in and took over, and all he did is put his head down, went to work, and I think I've mentioned this maybe 10 times since then. That just really impressed me a whole lot. And obviously he's had a good season this year as well.
Now that I think about it, I'm looking at Tyler Brown would be perfect since he got screwed so hard by the NCAA last year, and he just came back this year and worked harder and put more into it. And I don't, they don't have to be a senior to get this award. So I guess now that I think about it, those are three good names.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it was the best player, I think Travis is going to make a clean sweep. But he wasn't a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, and that really frustrated Coach Prime. He went so far as to say that the fact that he won the Jim Thorpe doesn't mean as much anymore to him now, and that he'll give Travis his trophy. I don't understand how you don't have him among the finalists. My thought is maybe that folks, and I said this to Brian on a video yesterday, that maybe they just are distracted by his dual threat abilities and don't pay enough attention to what he does as a corner.
I think that I think that's a nice thought, but I think that's giving him too much credit. I think it's just a slap in the face. It's either ignorance and stupidity or it's bias against CU and Coach Prime. As Coach Prime said about the Heisman, if you don't take your hate out for me on the players, it's like you cannot be following the Travis saga for Heisman and not understand how good he is as a defensive back and the plays he's made at cornerback. I don't give a damn who, any one of these goddamn clowns that they're going to give it to, and you're all clowns because you don't deserve it. Cannot do the things he can do as a cornerback. None of them. Not one of them. Not one of them. I don't even know who's on the damn list, but they cannot do the things. Not one of them, I bet you, has ever covered one guy and intercepted on another guy. And he's done it, 3-4 times in his career. So I just think the whole damn thing is ridiculous, stupid. And the people that, if you don't want to pick him at the end of the day because it comes down as tight and if you pick another guy who's worthy, so be it. But the fact that you did not even put him on your finalist list makes your list and your award worthless this year, and whoever you give it to, you don't deserve it. Period. Bill Winter, Denver, Colorado. Come see me if you got a problem with it. I don't give a rat's backside.
The hood is on. I'm
really expect that to be as heated as I felt about it, but it pisses me off.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it all day. I didn't really think about it. It didn't really make me mad until you asked me the question.
Yeah, no, there's really no excuse for it. And Coach Prime has said his piece. I mean, he was very blunt, and I appreciate his honesty on that subject because go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think his point is right, that it cheapens his award and it cheapens the award for whoever gets it this year. You left off a guy that clearly ought to be, a finalist, and by doing so, you make your whole list ridiculous, and you cheapen it for everybody that's on it.
Speaking of Travis, he was one of the few bright spots for the Buffs out in Kansas City at Arrowhead last Saturday. A rough day. I don't think any of us could have seen that defensive performance coming, right? I mean, that was borderline shocking just based on the track record they had started to establish as a defense this season.
Or the offense for that matter, really either, except for Nebraska, we'd always got 28 and we only got 21 in this. And so they didn't get many opportunities, but I don't know, it's a surprise and a shock after it happens, people ask me what happened in Kansas. I know what happened in Kansas. That's no freaking mystery. They had a good day, we had a bad day. And I tell you, you know, um, 40 years of following college football, that happens, and uh, uh, anyone who understands college football knows you can't take a lot of larger lessons from any one game because, as the saying goes, any damn thing can happen. So, I think they came out and they were ready to show something and we weren't. And I don't know, I didn't watch it over again to really break it down, but they had a good day and we had a bad day. But you know what? I kind of feel like um, it kind of fires me up in a way because I think that this is the kind of thing that will fire up Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and we'll get this team on a different track. And what actually happened in that game, I don't know. I think they outcoached us. I think their coordinators had a better plan. I think Jeff Grimes is one of the premier offensive line coaches in the country, and he had those guys ready to go up front, and they won that battle. Which we've been winning most of them up until this point. But I don't know what else is there left to say. We didn't play that good.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Isaiah Gustav got banged up in that game. He is expected back this week. Not sure on Jimmy Horn Jr. at this point. He's trying to give it a go. It'd be nice to get him out there for senior day, but probably going to be a game time decision with him. He did travel with the team out to Kansas City, but wasn't able to play against the Jayhawks. It does sound like Shane Cokes is going to be back on the
Yeah.
defensive line, so that'll be nice for senior day. But I think I mentioned this earlier in the podcast. Preston Hodge still out and nickel back. So I don't know. I'd like to see a little more Colton Hood out there.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I think there's lots of guys that get their opportunity this week, and I think they need to. From what it sounds like, things are going well in practice. They need to not take this team lightly. It's that they're, it kind of appears to me that maybe Oklahoma State has quit on the season, but who knows? They've got some dangerous guys, but I think in the larger sense of things, I mean, I kind of watched the Kansas thing. I don't know, do a little Taylor Swift and brush that thing right off my shoulder there. But in the larger scheme of things, I still go back and I feel real good about things, and I feel really positive, and I think that this is a thing that will fuel both this team and this coaching staff. And you look at Deion Sanders, you look at Warren Sapp, you look at Damian Lewis, you look at Coach Dancy, Phil Lodeholt, Robert Livingston. These are highly driven warrior type guys, and this is not going to sit well with them. I didn't mention Shermer because I don't know, maybe that needs to be a change, but I think Coach Prime is really sort of the ultimate competitor, and it comes naturally to him, and I think he's learning something, and that is that what is wired into him from birth, he has to teach the kids, and he has to find guys that have that, and he's used to having people have that naturally, and now he's finding that you got to find those guys, and then you got to teach it to them as they go, So I think it takes me back to last season after that game against little Danny the bitch Clicks Lanning, and he said, "Get me now, because you're not going to get me later," and I was thinking about it, and Coach Prime, I think people don't understand Deion Sanders, fully. I think people.
it takes me a second to really recenter and refocus when you go on one of those Lanning rants.
Well, and I'll take it. It's kind of like you get the thing going. Like Coach Prime came here and he took over. I go back to my Navy days, right? He took over a sunken
Yeah.
ship, man. They had. What are you laughing about? Trying to be serious here, man. Can you get a grip on it? Breathe into a
Yeah.
paper bag or something, man. I'm a see now you got me smiling. I'm trying to be serious here, okay? See,
uh,
I got
uh,
Warren Sapp eyes on you now. So um but you think about what he had to take over, and it was so far beyond a wrecked program. It was a sunken ship, right? And he got it up and he got it floating, and it's like an aircraft carrier. I remember we get on an aircraft carrier. It took a long damn time to get that thing up to speed, right? But once it was going full speed, nothing was going to stop it. To run right over it. What?
I couldn't stop. Sorry. I was trying to hold it in.
Well, all right.
Hey, I'm trying to throw you off track. I saw, unfortunately, before this Kansas game, they had projected, I think it was 24/7 Sports, my employer, they had projected Colorado against Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl, and I just was like, man, we get so much great content if that would happen. Obviously, it's not looking as likely now with the loss to Kansas, but can you imagine if we match up with Oregon in the future? We're gonna have to do like 8 shows that week.
Yeah, well, I don't mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think we got steps to go before we got to get there, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not ready to be in that position right now. I think this thing, um, there's steps you got to go through. And last year was the first of being competitive, and this year is taking it to the next level. And I think we got to get some more guys in here before we're up to that level. We were thinking about conference championship and playoffs, and that was all fun. But I think we don't have quite those guys yet that we need for that. And I think we learned that. And it's not necessarily, like I said, you can't take a whole season's worth of knowledge out of one game. We had a bad day. We still were beating most of the teams in this conference by multiple touchdowns, and so I don't know. A lot of other good teams got beat last week too by teams that they weren't supposed to lose to, and that
Yeah.
happens. That happens in this sport, and I know lots of sons of bitches around the country will take their shots at Coach Prime and CU over it.
It was kind of obnoxious, William. The TV ratings came out, and this, like, the KU loss for Colorado was like the most watched game they've had this year. And it's like, really, there's that many people that are hate watching this team. Like, you have nothing better to do with your time. Like,
What
that
do you
does
mean?
not make sense to me.
Like they tuned in late or something to watch it, or
Well, I mean, it just had really high ratings versus some of the games that they've won this year.
right? But you couldn't know that in advance. So I think there's a lot of
All
interest
right.
in this. I think there's a lot of excitement to see us go. I think there's a lot of excitement to see us win 10 games and get into the
Okay.
conference championship. And I think people were watching that because you couldn't know in advance that was going to happen. I mean, it's too bad that with all those people watching, we crap the bed, but that's the way it goes, and uh, I don't know. That's
If they beat Oklahoma State on Friday, your preseason regular season win prediction will be accurate. That'd be pretty cool for you.
well, it'd be kind of disappointing. I don't know. I don't know.
But you were excited when you predicted 9-3.
Yeah, but we got our hopes raised for a whole different thing, and now that
Okay.
that's kind of through me. I don't know. You kind of wrecked you harshed my buzz, man. And I don't know now.
All right.
But
Well, let's talk about something more positive, and that is the early signing day coming up on Wednesday, and some really talented players set to sign with the Buffs. And we haven't had a chance to talk, William, since Julian Lewis verbally committed to the Buffs. Any thoughts? Just your reaction to getting him on board?
I think it's exciting. I think it's kind of been a foregone conclusion for quite some time. I think they won him over when he was here. I mean that picture of Shador handing him the keys to me was the sign that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I posted on our board today. I am goddamn tired of getting kicked around on the lines. So, uh, you know, and I posted on the board. I was like, 20 years ago, I just wanted to see another dominant offensive line. Now I'm going to have to live as long as Peggy, for the love of Christ, to see a freaking dominant offensive line on this freaking team. So to me, when I see Chauncey Gooden, and maybe Carday Smith, maybe Michael Carroll, that to me is the excitement on this. I think we got one defensive lineman, but he's not going to play early, I don't think, and we're going to have to rebuild that defensive line through the portal. But to see guys like Chauncey Gooden and Carday Smith and Michael Carroll, well, London Merritt, if London Merritt comes with us, that would be a big time get on the defensive line, but he's more of an outside edge player. But so I think it's exciting to see who they're getting, but I still think that the majority of this team is going to be rebuilt through the portal. I don't know if Julian Lewis is our starting quarterback or not. As a true freshman, you look at the chump at Nebraska, that didn't work out so good. But I don't know. I think anytime you got a true freshman coming out of high school at any position in this sport, you can't be sure of things. I think we're spoiled by Jordan Seaton. That we think everybody's going to look like that, and they're not all going to look like that.
Yeah.
But
Julian Lewis is a pretty special talent, and he reclassified. So yeah, he's going to come in and be very young, and that's obviously going to be the question mark there. But you just look at, I like the way that the director of 24/7's sports scouting, Andrew Ivan, said. He said he's a de facto point guard on the gridiron. He just manages an offense really well, and is so efficient, and he's got a quick release. So I like his game quite a bit. Yeah, obviously, anytime you start a freshman, there's going to be ups and downs. We'll see how it plays out. They do have a couple of really talented receivers committed too. Adrian Wilson, big time playmaker. Gwinnell X Farrakhan Jr. I think he can come in, contribute in the slot pretty early on. You're kind of talking a little bit about some of the guys they might get. Let me pull it. I have submitted at this point 3 crystal ball forecasts in favor of Colorado. I feel good about Colorado's chances of getting Carday Smith. I felt that way. I submitted that crystal ball back on October 2nd when he was still committed to USC at that point. He's going to announce on Wednesday, the first day of the early signing period. I've got a crystal ball in there. You mentioned London Merritt, an edge prospect from IMG. I have predicted him to go with the Buffs prior. Ohio State commit, and Alexander McPherson from IMG as well, a defensive lineman. He was committed to Oklahoma State for a while. I've submitted a crystal ball with him as well. So should be fun leading up to signing day. There's definitely going to be some additions to the list. I feel pretty good about those 3 guys. Recruiting, sometimes it can change, but right now I feel good about that. It's going to be a little bit bigger group than they had last year, especially during the early signing period when they only signed, was it 5 guys, I think, early on last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to get a little more every year, and I think it was probably a hard sell for high school kids the first season. They wanted to see if he was going to still be here, if he was going to win, if he was going to be successful. I think Julian Lewis coming in at quarterback will have an entirely different type of offense than Shedeur, and we're chatting with some people on our board last week about, well, how can you be better when you lose Shedeur and Travis Hunter? And the reality is sometimes you are, because we get so focused, you get your offense so focused on those 2 people, and then you get somebody else like a Julian Lewis maybe, or even a Ryan Staub or somebody who's going to run a different kind of offense, and you can tailor your offense to that, the different sorts of skills, and you get the ball spread around a little bit, and maybe you're not as predictable. I don't know, so at any rate, it's always good to get your quarterback, commit, and that sort of leads your class and leads other people to want to be part of it as well too. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some of these other guys jump on board next week as well. But I think we'll see every year that the quality of guys that we've got committed this year and looking at us is off the charts. So it's really kind of very exciting, and I think it'll get better each year with more wins and like next year with Coach Prime here, there won't be he's going to be leaving after his kids are gone garbage.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So each year that he's here, I think it's a little bit easier to do the high school recruiting.
I really like Mantrez Walker as a linebacker commit in this class. He's from Buford, Georgia, where Colorado signed some guys in the last decade or so. You mentioned Chauncey Gooden. Obviously, he's one of the headliners in this class, and he was really active trying to recruit for CU on social media. He's actually coming out to Boulder to watch Friday's game. So he's definitely fallen in love with the Buffs. Is there any other guys on this commit list that have stood out to you that you're pretty excited about?
Yeah, well, I mean, Chauncey Gooden, I think, is a potential early starter. I think, all the guys, Farrakhan and Wilson and wide receiver fit. They're both smaller guys. So, well, I guess 6 foot's not all that small, but not the 6'3", 6'2" kinds of guys, but they sort of fit in the quality of the wide receivers we've had. Antonio Branch is a big kid at safety, which I think we need to upgrade at safety, but um, everybody on there is exciting. I think that some of the guys who might jump on board with us for next week, I think a class with both Chauncey Gooden and Cardi Smith in it, is a darn good offensive line class. And if Michael Carroll somehow jumps on board, then it's a great offensive line class, maybe the best in the country. So that would be exciting. Um, and so I don't know. I think we're going to continue to hit the portal hard, and I think that's worked well for us. I think Coach Prime has shown that that's a viable way to do things. So I'm excited to see what we can do, and I think will it be even more um, uh, marketable. I think to portal type guys. Both from they see it that the guys that came in and started this year, and see the success that they had. So if you're a portal guy and you come here, if you're good enough, you're going to play.
Yeah. Show up and work hard. It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been, it's, they took so much criticism that first offseason with the way they rebuilt the roster, but it's been from day one simple task is show up and work your butt off and maximize your potential. And
Well,
they're guys that they'll find a role for a guy, even if that's just on special teams.
and those idiots that mock that don't understand what he had to overcome, and they don't understand Coach Prime and what they want, and they only want to print the side of it that gets them looked at like, oh, they got all these people. Well, they don't look at the fact of the quality of the people that they brought in this year. The guys that are graduates and no problems on or off the field with any of these guys, and they were team guys. And I think one of the things that stands out to me about Coach Prime that people don't understand is that he's a very intelligent guy and he learns lessons. And he learned in that first season that you got to have chemistry and you got to have leaders and you got to have guys that have performed. They went out looking for an entirely different class of dudes in that class last year, and they brought in a bunch of guys who could work together and put the team first, and still be stars and play. And so you don't see any of the jack wagons in the media talking about that. So uh, I think as we continue to move forward and this continues to get better and better, you're going to see that Coach Prime's way is going to be seen as a way that really works. Now, most of these dumbass coaches aren't going to be able to do it because they're not Deion Sanders. You know, some of them get to inherit a Lamborghini, and they continue to keep driving it until they meet me in the airport. At which point they'll need dental work, but we'll leave that alone because that got us off track earlier. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
But you
I,
got
I
you
just
got you got into a little back and forth with an Ohio State fan when London Merritt decommitted, right?
Well, I didn't. Somebody reported it from
Oh,
their
okay,
board.
okay.
So, some idiot on the Ohio State board um, said that going to play for CU and Coach Prime was an unserious choice. Which I think we'd heard that sort of thing from other people at like the so-called blue blood schools, and that's just ignorance and sour grapes. I think. I think first of all, it's either ignorance of who Deion Sanders, Coach Prime is, because if it's an unserious, I don't know what his view of serious is, like seriously playing for championships, or I don't really understand what his meaning is, but it's another bash at Coach Prime without having the balls to come out and say it's a bash at Coach Prime. So I think coming to play here is a very serious choice. And I think we've demonstrated this year that we're just a few players away from playing for the conference and national championships. And so we've also demonstrated that if you come here and you're good enough, you'll play. So it's a very serious choice to come here and play. And I think that the people saying those kinds of things really don't understand who Coach Prime is and what he's about. And what it is that he's an ultimate competitor, and he learns. He learns from his mistakes. And so Kansas beats us, he's going to learn something from that. He's going to make sure his players and his team and his coaches learn something from that, and they're going to be better for it in the long run.
Yeah, well put there. I think that at least with the recruits and transfers now, you've shown the results on the field, and they're going to have quite a few guys drafted next April, and so the negative recruiting that Colorado's encountered out there, I don't think it's going to hold much weight. Now that you've got these results that you've backed it up.
Right. And I think, the only one they're going to still be able to use for the short term is he'll be gone when his sons are gone. So, and I think it's very clear he's not going anywhere, but it's working, and it's working for the players. And, like I mentioned on our board, people are like, oh, we got to get good defensive linemen, but they cost a lot of NIL. Well, you know what? Some of them are smart enough to know that you come and you play for Damian Lewis and Charles Dancy and Warren Sapp, you're going to get taught high level NFL defensive line play, And so a lot of people are smart enough to look past the immediate dollar and see the long-term benefits. And coming to play here as a defensive lineman is a no-brainer to me, for the coaching staff we got. So I feel very confident we'll fill those interior spots on the D line and some of those edge spots again. Some of those guys are coming back, but we'll get some guys coming in that are going to be just as exciting or more exciting than what we had this year. We got Sammy Okunlola back, and Arden Walker and Tyler McCoy and Dan Hayes. So we've got a good foundation on the outside of that defensive line. Now we got to fill in some guys on the inside. I mean, I think Amari McNeil is going to be as good a defensive tackle as there is in the country next year. So
yeah,
then we've got to fill some 4 or 5 guys around it.
DJ McKinney, Colton Hood, some other really nice pieces. You're going to bring back Carter Stoutmeyer. Stoutmeyer will get better. I think people forget that he didn't have an offseason this past year. I got to circle back to something. You brushed your shoulder off? Did Taylor Swift steal that from Jay-Z? I thought Taylor Swift is more shake it off, right?
Oh, I don't know, man. Now you're getting down. You're getting way off of my. I don't even remember what I was talking about because somebody couldn't control themselves and
had to I apologize.
Had to derail my brilliant. I was probably going to cure cancer right there in that segment. And too bad, cancer people. I had it, and Adam wrecked it.
Dang it!
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about at that point. Now you got me thinking about William Gardner as the go-to on what would we call it, modern contemporary music. Yeah, probably not the place to go. Probably not the place to
go.
All
right, but here's something that maybe a little something more, and that's Thanksgiving feasts. What's your favorite side on Thanksgiving, or is it the turkey? What's your favorite?
I like yams when you do them. You take yams, you make the sweet juice with the brown sugar and the marshmallows on top.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I only want that once a year, but on Thanksgiving that really hits the spot.
And it's kind of like a dessert almost if you do it right. I do. I take that sauce out I bought it once in the can because what the hell, I'm not gonna feel them and whatever, and you boil that down with brown sugar until it becomes a thick sauce, and you put it all in a dish together, and you bake it in an oven, and I always add cinnamon and your pumpkin pie spices, so cinnamon, nutmeg, things, and it's just super tasty. So
that sounds good. Can I come over tomorrow?
Yeah. Everybody realize you get into cooking we're gonna do next week. We'll do a cooking show
Okay.
after the Oklahoma State game.
I'm
Maybe,
actually a decent cook. I can bring a little bit to the table.
yeah, maybe I could take this in the kitchen and I'll show you. Okay, here's what you do. You so if I go back in time, when I go in the Navy, I think I'd have gone in as a cook and gone to culinary school and skipped the whole lawyer gig.
Yeah. No, it's always fun, especially when you got a big group of people to, share with. William, I'm very thankful for you. This has been fun to do. We've had a chance, I think, to do it every week for many months now. We've been
Yeah.
fitting it into our schedule, and it always gets good response. Today, I'm going to get hammered because I couldn't stop laughing, but I still had fun on the show.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I don't know, and then I don't know that Coach Prime and the team gives us good stuff to talk about, and
Yeah.
some of the fools out there that can't stop being idiots. But I guess it's a good thing if everybody got on board and had a love fest for Coach Prime. We wouldn't have to talk about it.
Yeah. I guess we could just talk about football. That would be nice.
Wait, but nobody. I don't know, man. Every year it seems like people care about the football part of it less and the
I
sideshow
know.
part of it. I don't know. Yeah, I try to put up football stuff on the board, and nobody looks at it.
Yeah.
So people want to hear the um, bold takes and things like that, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of tiring though, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. In contrast to my day job, it's kind of tame.
Yeah.
So, the kind of drama I had to deal with Monday and Tuesday, um, it put this all in perspective for me. So uh, I don't know. I think it's kind of fun, and I think I like having. One thing about Coach Prime is that there's so much positive with him, and even when this negative stuff happens, he still mostly, for the most part, remains positive about it.
Mhm.
And the things that are such huge deals in the moment, like that stupid Keeler garbage at the beginning of the season, are forgotten and moved on, because there's so much. This is a game and a sport with young people, and there's just a new thing every week, and there's new excitement every week, and now we got the recruiting going on, and I just look up here and
Gonna have the Heisman Trophy ceremony not too long from now.
Josh Pate is up here and says, "Is Colorado's success sustainable moving forward?" What kind of okay? I'm not even going to listen to that because what a dumbass question is that? Is it sustainable moving forward? What would stop it? Okay, let me put it to you that way there. Because I give him credit because he's bald like us. He must be okay. But why would it not be sustainable moving forward? What's going to stop him this year from doing just as well, if not better, in the portal last year? With more success, you have more success, right? And again, you that's either a fundamental misunderstanding of who Deion Sanders is, or more likely, I guess, you just want people to tune in, for the controversial nature of it. But I know I was trying to do my aircraft carrier comparison, which resulted in I mean, I got to put that in my note to self. When you do stand-up comedy, do the aircraft carrier thing. But I guess the point, is like, when you get that thing up to speed, when you get that thing up to steam, when you get this program up to steam, there ain't a whole lot of things going to stop it, right? And down the road in a couple of years, when Coach Prime's got this thing rolling, and guys are begging to come here, and he's turning dudes away, which is probably going to start this off season. Dudes like Dan Lanning are going to be like rubber bands off the side of an aircraft carrier, man. Because is it sustainable moving forward? Hell yeah, it's sustainable. Not only is it sustainable, this thing's going to become a juggernaut, like a Nick Saban kind of a thing, because Nick Saban mastered the old way of doing it. Okay. And then they changed it and he retired, and God bless him for doing it. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has already shown everybody the new way to do it. Okay. And he's mastered it, and he's going to fine tune it every year because, like I said, most coaches have 3 brain cells bounced around inside their skull, and they don't learn from their mistakes because they think they're the smartest guy in the room. Deion Sanders probably is the smartest guy in most rooms, and yet he listens to everybody else that's in the room because he understands that other people have good ideas too. And so, is this thing sustainable moving forward? Josh Pate, the answer is yes.
All
Next
right.
question.
Yeah, Josh Pate's actually been very pro Coach Prime, but yeah, I'd have to watch that video to know what the conversation was there. I
Yeah, I'm
can't
sure.
end this show yet, William. You know why?
Uh, you
We
got
got to
to.
talk about we got to talk about the Hungry Toad.
Oh yeah.
They're bringing a taste of England to Boulder. They've been doing that since 1991, and we had a chance to go there during the bye week. Enjoyed our time there. You had a chance to sample some of their beers, right?
Yeah, yeah, and they got a lot of different varieties there. So I tried a whole bunch of different ones, not like mugs, but a
Yeah,
little sample.
good environment, good food. Definitely recommend getting down there. At the Hungry Toad, they serve a hearty homemade fare from their scratch kitchen, paired with a brilliant selection of British beers. They're the perfect spot for friends and family to gather, relax, and enjoy the warm, welcoming atmosphere. And if you're mad for football, so are they. Whether it's the American gridiron or European footy, they proudly support CU football and CU women's soccer. The Hungry Toad, Boulder's local pub that's not on Pearl Street. So one more game in the regular season, William. Hopefully we can get our schedules to match up to do a podcast next week. Hopefully the Buffs are 9-3 at that point, and we're talking about either Big 12 championship game or a nice bowl game. Right now, it looks like either you find a way to kind of back your way into the Big 12 championship game, or it's going to be the Alamo Bowl, which Colorado played their previous two bowl games at, or the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. So I've had a great experience covering the Alamo Bowl, and I wouldn't be disappointed to have to go back. But I mean, part of me wants to go to the Holiday Bowl just to experience something different, even though I think it's a lower payout, a lower tier bowl game than the Alamo Bowl.
In our Oklahoma State game early Friday morning though.
Yeah, what did I say? Saturday?
I don't know. You said I was just thinking like if it's 10:30 Friday morning, there's no reason why we can't get this thing done Saturday or Sunday, hopefully, because it's not.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we'll get it done earlier. Yeah.
Got to keep the fans coming back. All three of you. Appreciate all three of you. But so if we get that game done early Friday and hopefully have a good outcome, which we really, hopefully I expect this to be returned to form for the Buffs, and have a good closing out the season game. But yeah, and then we end up where we end up, and see how it all plays out, and we go play where we play, and that's the way it goes. We had an opportunity for more and we missed it, but maybe we'll back our way into it, and who knows.
Been since '04 since Colorado's won a bowl game. It'd be sure nice to break that streak.
Yeah. Couple things I don't hope don't have to live to Peggy's age to get is a winning bowl game and a dominant offensive line.
All right.
I'm not asking for a lot, Santa. Just a couple things, man. Throw them in the back of the sled, drop them off here in Colorado, right? And $1 million if you got it. I'm just saying, and put it in a box. Drop it down.
You got to find a genie, not Santa. I don't know if he's going to be able to deliver on that.
I don't know. Crazy elf up and he's going into everybody's house. Not suggesting he's got sticky fingers, but hey, I'm just saying, the guy can get around the world one night to probably come up with $1 million.
All right, all right. Well, I appreciate you, William. Have a great Thanksgiving. Okay.
Yeah, and you too, and your family, and I hope it's a wonderful day for everybody out there. And we'll see you on the other side over the weekend, I guess.
Awesome. And Thanksgiving to everybody out there watching. Thanks for tuning in.